Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. In today's video we are creating the folder. So if you have the cutting guide for the box full of goodies, then you can find all your pieces for this project under folder. And just to give you a reminder again on what we are making, it's this fold out element where you can make or create your photo opportunities on these larger areas. So really room to play with, and if you are used to making layouts or scrapbook, then this can be a really fun project for you to make. So yeah, the folder, that's what we're creating in this video. The booklet construction. So again, I've cut all my pieces to size. I'm going to start with the first piece that measures 7.5 inches by 7 3/8. And we want to make sure that we have the right side along the top of our scoreboard, 7 3/8 of an inch on top. And I'm going to score at 5.5 inches and 5 5/8 of an inch. So that's the first piece. And I'm also going to score the second piece that measures 7.5 inches by 6.5, and I want to have the 6.5 inch side on top. Score 1/2 inch and 6 inches. Okay. So the first piece, what we can do is fold and burnish both the score lines. It can be a little bit tricky with the two score lines close together. Okay, there we go. Put that to the side, and then the other piece that we've scored on the bumpy side, so where the score line is coming out of the paper, I'm going to apply my tape on the 1/2 inch parts. Give that a burnish, and both of these sides we are going to give a slide taper. So put your scissors just above the score line. You want to make sure you don't cut into your score line. And angle that slightly. It's just for hiding construction. And we can fold both score lines. I'm not going to burnish yet, I will do that later. I'm going to get the first piece in that we just folded, and I'm going to place the cut edge here, so my flap is on this side, this cut edge on top of my first 1/2 inch up to the score line. I still want to be able to see that score line, and line it up from top to bottom. Making sure that I'm not going over the score line. And give that a burnish. Then I need to do that, repeat that with our third piece of cardstock that measures 7.5 inches by a hair under 5.5 inches. And we are going to attach that one on top of the other 1/2 inch flap. So again, lining it up from top to bottom and making sure that we don't go over the score line, that we can still see the score line after attaching. Okay, so just do your best to get that as straight as you can get it. And then what we want to do, we can fold on this score line, we can burnish it, and we want to make sure that we don't go over the score line here. So that's why I cut it a hair under 5.5, but in my case I even need to cut it a hair down more. So I'm just going to put it back in the paper trimmer. And it doesn't have to be much, but you just want everything to fold nicely without it catching or anything. So, and once we've placed some paper and some pictures in here, we might be a little shorter after that due to the bulk, but for now you want to make sure you don't go over that score line. And then I also need to burnish the fold here. So I'm going to fold the bottom one in, then again up, and then we have a closing flap here. But this is not where we're gonna leave it. It is going to be a quick one, but we are going to get another piece of cardstock that measures 8.5 by 3.25, and I'm going to score with the 8.5 inches on top. You guessed it, at 1/2 inch and 8 inches. Turn it, and now with the 3.25 inside on top, you're going to score 1/2 inch. And again, I like to do that on the right hand side, so in that case it's 2 3/4. And I want to play with a little bit of acetate on this pocket, so I'm going to turn it over to the bumpy side. I have an idea on my head, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work, so we are going to find out together. Along the top where I don't have a score line, I'm going to mark the center, or basically I'm just going to mark the center with a line. So I measure on 2 spots and then I can draw a straight line. And then let's go on. When I look at the pockets later on, I want it on the right hand side. So when I turn it over to the bumpy side, it's going to be the left hand side. I'm going to draw a frame. So I'm gonna go 1 inch from the bottom cut edge. And then 1 inch from the left cut edge. All the way up to the cut edge on top. And then I'm also going to go from the line that marks the center, 1/2 inch in. I'm just going to try it, we'll see how it works out. I'm going to cut out that U shape. So I'm cutting from intersection of pencil lines to intersection. And then from that point up to the cut edge. Okay, so that is out. And then what I have, yes, but I need to cut one down. Let me see. Okay, so back to the dented side, I'm just going to start with placing some tape, because now I need to do some measuring, and for that I want to be able to fold in my 1/2 inches. I'm going to miter the corners where the score lines intersect. And then I'm going to fold over my bottom inch flap, and it should come up to there. I'm going to mark on my center line to where that flap is coming. And I have done this before in one of the other projects. So 2 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna have 2 strips that are, for now they are both 1 inch, and I'm going to make them 2 inches long. So I need to cut them down a little bit. So 2 pieces 1 inch by 2 inch. But one of these pieces I'm going to cut back to 3/4 of an inch. Let me see, let's do 7/8 of an inch. I'm going to cut one of the pieces to 7/8 of an inch. Get the scoreboard in. And both of them I'm going to score at half an inch. So just make inches again. Now, this one also half an inch. And then some tape. So on the one that I left at 1 inch, I can just do my 3/8 inch tape on both sides. So again on the dented side of the piece. And then here I have one part that is half an inch, so I can use my 3/8 inch tape there. And then the other part is only 3/8 of an inch, so I'm going to use 1/4 inch tape. Okay, give it a burnish, fold so the tape shows on the outside. And both pieces we are going to taper. So from the folded edge up to the cut edge. Okay, so the piece that has a shorter side, I want to stick that short side right here by the frame. So I'm going to bump the folded edge up with the pencil line, and then the short side will end up on top of the frame part basically. And again, from top to bottom, you're going to make sure that you have some space towards the top cut edge and the line that we've marked here. That marks where this flap is going. So that's where we want to have that short 3-inch part going. And if you want to do your acetate frame on both sides, then you need to change your hinge on both pieces, right? But I only have a frame on one side, so the other one just stayed at 1 inch. Bump up folded edges against each other. And now I'm going to measure what I need for acetate. I'm gonna need 3.5 by 2 5/8. Okay, small piece of acetate. Yes, I can use 1/4 inch tape. So I'm going to place tape again on 3 sides. And I say again because I've done it before on one of the projects. So on both short sides and on one long side. Carefully burnish your tape. And I'm just going to place it to where the cut edge is on that side. Just do whatever works for you, right? What is easy for you. I'm going to, and you can decide to place your acetate first and then your hinge on top of the acetate. That will work just as well. So make sure you stay in between your score lines and you line up the cut edge here. And drop it. And then again carefully burn your tape down. Okay. And I can fold this hinge over. If you see that hinge through your acetate, don't worry, we are going to cover that up with pattern paper. Okay, so did we fold on everything? No, right? We still need to fold and burnish. Okay, then getting our base piece back in, we are going to place this pocket here at the front. So when we close our flap and we put something in the pocket, it will keep the flap down. But what I'm not going to line it up with the folded edge here at the bottom. I'm going to stay just above that folded edge. I will show you up close in a second. But I think it's easier if I open it up completely, and then you have to be on the middle part and your flap will be at the bottom. So that's not going to be completely in frame, right? This piece is too big for it. but then it needs to go on the middle panel, and you want to stay away from your fold line there, about 1/8 of an inch. Remove the tape backing here from the bottom. And I'm just trying to get that as straight as I can. I stick down one corner, and then I try to align it with the edge there. And then bring the other corner there. Remove the tape backings here. And then carefully hold this flat with my fingers. Align it on the edges. And then the pocket is in place. So now when we close it, we fold it all up, then our flap will go over it. And then, like I said, when we put something in the pocket here, it's going to keep the flap closed. So you can keep this as one big pocket, so you can put something bigger in here. But I think pieces falling out or not staying in place in the large pocket is a little bit more of a challenge. So that's why I make it 2 pockets, but you can do whatever you like. I'm also going to angle my corners here with my corner punch. Of course I had to go find that, but here I have it. So the angle, but I showed you in the box construction, I think it was, how you can do this by hand as well if you like the look and you don't have to punch. So that's just another decorative element. And then this is all that is to it. We need to decorate this and make sure that we get photo opportunity in here. So there's here in this project, it's not so much construction, it's more decorating and creating photo spots, which you can do in a more of a layout scrapbook way, or maybe play with your pattern paper, create a belly band or a tuck space or something. So we'll see what I'm gonna come up with, but there is lots of room for some pictures in this pretty easy booklet, I called it. So because that was the most original name that I could come up with. So this is it. Again, I hope you liked it, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. For now, enjoy the rest of your day, and bye bye.